Hey everybody, so I want to talk about homework, how we're going to do that, what that's going to look like, and in case we're doing this virtually at the beginning of the year, who knows at this point, I want to walk you through the sign-in process for the application that I use to do most of your homework and quizzes and some tests. Okay, so, and if you need to pause at any point during the video, just kind of pause and then go back and forth from doing what you're doing. So I want you to go online to www.varsitylearning.com. And when you do, you should go to a page that looks like this. Okay, this nice girl staring at you with a bunch of textbooks. And what you're going to do is click on this blue button that says student sign up. So I'm going to click on that. And then I want to actually walk you through these steps. So bear with me while I attach a keyboard. All right. So you will have, I want you to use your drag email address, which if you don't know it, it's going to be your first name dot last name. And you can see like an example of one right here. Rebecca.spiker@student.rgdrag.org. I happen to have one. It's test.test. So first name dot last name at student, the word student, dot, make sure you have dots, not commas, rgdrag, all one word, .org, not edu, not anything else. Okay, your password should be same as your network password at Drag, which again, if we're online, you don't know what that is yet. So it's the first initial of your first name as a capital letter. So mine would be a capital T based on what's up there. Then a lowercase first initial of your last name. So again, for me, it's a T because it's test.test. And then it's your last 6 digits of your student ID. So get your schedule. You should have that in front of you. Find your student ID, start at the right-hand side and count backwards and get the last 6 digits. So I'm going to go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for mine because I don't really have one. Okay. And then you're going to need that for another thing I'm going to have you do in a moment. So hang on to it. Tap down to confirm the password, capital, lowercase, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then please type your first name and last name, case sensitive. So type it the way you would want to see it. Although I can say, like I had a student, let's say Luke, and he went by Bob. Type in your nickname here because that's what I'm going to see. So whatever you would want me to call you in the classroom, okay? Make sure both of these are checked. Notify me by email when I receive a new message. So that's if I email you, and that you have read and agreed to the terms of use. And then you're going to hit sign up. It doesn't actually check and make sure. Oh, also, if you have an option to save this password, hit save because sometimes you guys forget it and it's a pain and I can't see it. I can help you reset it, but I can't ever see it. So I would hit save there. And then I want you to come over here and find this link that says return to the login page. And you're going to click on that. Okay. Now you should have over here enroll in a course or something along those lines. And so let me give you some course IDs. You should know, again, looking at your schedule, what class you're in for me. And so if you're in Algebra 2, the class code is 2998. If you're in Algebra 3, or maybe it'll say like concepts for college algebra, I'm not sure. But if it doesn't say Algebra 2 or pre-calc, you're in Algebra 3, and that would be 3001. And then if you're in pre-calc with me, then that code is 3000. And when you type that in back in Varsity and then hit OK, what you'll see is one of these classes up here in the upper left-hand corner for you. Okay. So I want to real quickly just show you the idea here. You're going to use Varsity a lot, in class, out of class. You can do it on a phone. It's not super easy, but it's possible. They don't have an app as far as I know, so it's just the web address. All right, so you're going to click on the course, and then I set up an example over here in Varsity in Algebra 2 for you. So what you would see when you come in is a calendar at the top of the page, and on a due date, now the due date, not the assigned date, on the due date, you will see blocks that are colored that have different numbers. Remember, I mentioned for notes, we're going to denote these by chapter and section. So my class this week quite literally has 6-1, 6-1B, and 6-2 due. You guys are this review class. So if you click on one of these blocks, if you hear my dogs wrestling in the background, I apologize. Just ignore that noise. You click on one of these blocks, it will open up this little area down here below the calendar, and it will allow you to actually go to that assignment. Okay. However, down below, if you know the chapter and section, you can also see some information down here, and you can access that assignment from the blue area as well. And a lot of times there is a video lesson embedded. Now, these are not me teaching. I might actually do that at some point, embed my videos as well. But if you don't know how to do something, you can always watch this video. I mean, if you miss notes, we're not going to do notes in class, right? You're doing notes via video. So you have that. This is a different way for you. Maybe you'll learn better from somebody else. Who knows? Sometimes that happens. But you can access the problem set here or up here under the calendar. Generally, I think my kids use under the calendar. So I'm going to click on that. And the things I want you to notice, it tells you the possible number of points here over on the left-hand side. Okay. It also tells you a due date up here. And so this is important. It tells you what time it's due. Now, these are firm deadlines. These things close at this time. So at 11:59 p.m. on 4/24, this assignment will close, and it will put it in what's called review mode. This will be red up here, and it will say in review mode. And when that happens, it will not take any of your scores and record them for me. Okay, so if something's in review mode, do not do it. It's a giant waste of your time. Now, also, excuse me, down here, a lot of times the first question is going to be vocab. They give you a word bank. Make sure you're typing things appropriately and correctly. If there's spaces, make sure they're spelled right. It's got to look exactly like it. But a couple things I want to show you about Varsity. In the gray bar under the question, it tells you how many possible points it is. Those points are also right here next to the question. Okay. Here it shows you how many attempts you have to do this question. So I make a lot of these 4 attempts. Sometimes they're unlimited. This one's 3. Now, let me show you an example here. If I go to question 6, let's see, it's giving you a number, it's giving you a second number, and asking you for their product. Product means multiply, which this is shown here, x times y. So I'm going to multiply 5/6 times 6/7. And if you can't multiply in your head, I know that this is 5/7. Okay. Now notice when I clicked in this box, you get this little yellow up arrow right here. It's not in any of these boxes because I haven't clicked in them. So I'm going to click in it. I'll get an up arrow. Okay. That takes you to an equation editor if you want to use it. Now let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to click on the yellow up arrow, equation editor. Here I have a fraction, an exponent, a subscript, a square root, an nth root, like a cube root or a fifth root, absolute value bars, parentheses, and a couple of symbols. Sometimes you'll have other tabs up here, a trig tab, a symbols tab, other things. Okay, but if you want to click on the fraction, you can then click in the top, and I'm going to say this is 5. You can use arrow keys, literally the arrows on your keyboard, or you can use your mouse and click in the bottom. This is 7. If you have anything else, make sure you click off to the side before you type anything in. Now, when I hit save here, it will take that and make it 5/7. Okay, so you can see what that is. Again, down here, if I go 7/8 times 8/9, that's 7/9. I can just type 7/9. I don't have to go to the equation editor. Okay, I'm going to make these ones wrong on purpose. 3/2, I'm just guessing. I don't even know what these are. And 6/7. So I'm going to hit submit. Now remember, this is attempt 1 of 3. I'm going to submit. It will highlight anything in green that you do and get correct, and anything wrong in red. So I know that the first and third parts are green, they're correct, and the second and fourth ones are incorrect. Okay, now here's an important deal. I'm going to submit and use up all my attempts. Okay, so I can't do it anymore. So now it gives me the answers after I get to the end. And then if you want to get these points back, you would have to do the entire question. But instead of choosing next question up here, you would choose try another similar question. And let me show you what that does. But before that, notice over here on the left, this was question 6. And right now you have 0.5 out of 1 and a yellow check mark because it's done when you have a check mark. Okay. Now, if I hit try another similar question, it's going to give me the table again. It's going to still say I have 0.5 out of 1. But now let me do all these correctly. So this is 4/6. I'm going to hope that this is actually wrong because that should be reduced to 2/3. The next one would be 5/7. Oops, 5/7. The next one would be 6/8 or 3/4. And the last one is going to be 7/9. Okay, so I'm going to hit submit. You could also, if you have a blinking cursor in here, you can just hit the enter key and it will grade it for you. And so, whoa, look what I got up here. 4, good Lord. That was supposed to be 4/6. So let's try that again. And then down here, this should be 5/7. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter and regrade it. All right, now, as I was hoping, it didn't take 4/6 because that should be reduced to 2/3. And when you reduce that correctly, that should give you the credit for that. So now you can see up here, I earned full credit for that question. So if you are willing to try these problems multiple times, you can earn full credit on all of your homework. Okay? So if I click on another question, just something else I want to expand and simplify. 1/6 times 1/6 means I multiply straight across. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 times 6 is 36. Hit enter. It grades it. We're going to do a lot of fractions in my room. You're going to hate them. Everybody does. But they're very necessary when you move on to some upper level math and if you do some math in college. One thing you should know about Varsity is do not ever put a mixed number in. And by mixed number, I mean something like, let's go back here. So I use my mouse with my right hand, right? But I'm left-handed. So mixed number is something like 1 2/3. Never put these in Varsity. You're always going to put in the improper fraction, which is 3 times 1 plus 2. So the denominator times the whole number plus the numerator all over the original denominator. Then you're going to actually do that math. So 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So this would be the answer that you would want to put into Varsity. Okay. Now, just a couple of notes about homework. When you do your homework for me in Varsity, you're going to do all of this work on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so when you have a Varsity assignment, you're going to, on a separate sheet of paper, make sure your name is on there. Make sure the assignment number is on there. Meaning, like, that one was a review or 6.8 or whatever it is. And then I want you to copy each problem. Show all your work. For example, if you had to do 2/3 times 4/5, write that down. If you know that that's 8/15, great. If you don't, you might want to do that and you're just multiplying straight across. And then if you had to reduce it, reduce it. Show all your work. I want you to box your answers. And if you are a highlighter person and you like to box your answers or highlight your answers, I want your first submission highlighted in pink. And only pink. Okay, so your first submission, if you do these, you're going to highlight the... I hate when that happens. So I got this weird black line. So you're going to highlight those in pink. Okay. In classroom, you're going to submit... Oh, Lord. This happens even on the board in class. In Google Classroom, you're going to submit your work to me. And I check that work. It doesn't all have to be right. You'll have a longer period of time to get varsity correct. But submit your work, and I'm looking to see how your process is, what you're doing, all that good fun stuff. And then back in varsity, what you'll see at the bottom of the assignment is your score on that assignment, right? The grade is right down here. And so I want you to take note of that grade every single time you do an assignment or a quiz or whatever. And as a private comment, on the assignment, I want you to put your score in there. Not the percentage, the actual score. So if we were using the one that I just showed you, this guy back here, I would quite literally put in 4 out of 20. Okay. So that's what I would like you to do. Every time you do a homework, you're going to put your name on it, the assignment number, copy each problem down. Oh, I forgot to say number each problem. I feel like kids know that, and then I get students who don't do that. And put them in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 1, 16 because it looks easy, then 20, then back to 2. No, put them in order. Copy each problem, number each problem, show all your work, box your answers. If you're going to highlight in pink only, then you're going to go to Google Classroom, submit your work to me there, put a private comment on the assignment, and put your score on that assignment. Okay, so this was actually an intro into varsity. We'll have more on classroom, and I'm going to ask you next to go and sign up for a remind service for your class. Okay? Toodaloo.